Ho, ho, ho! Welcome to Thought Cops, coming to you live from the mean streets of Neo Chicago. I am Officer Kevin.
Make sure to get vaccinated, everybody.
You're not sounding so hot over there, man.
I got vaccinated.
See, everybody listening, that's why you don't do that, because you'll get a hoarse voice for a podcast. Just kidding.
I've been experiencing a mild case of myocarditis. Have you heard this? Have you seen this?
I have not.
Is Joe Rogan the new? Is Joe Rogan the new Jay Leno? He's kind of like a. Have you seen this? Have you heard this? This
is gonna be really dark, but I think we do need a new Jay Leno.
Oh, because we accidentally singed the last one.
Yeah.
Oops.
My bad.
Fine.
Just kidding. It's his bad. He shouldn't have so many cars.
He's got too many cars, and they're all old cars. It's no wonder one of them caught fire.
Yeah.
It was probably the Tesla, actually.
I was going to say, I
take it back. Never mind.
I'm still going to blame it on Tesla for some reason, just because it's, because fuck Elon.
Yeah.
Prick. So we have no guest today. This is actually going to be I was going to say Christmas special. It's a holiday special.
Yeah, because we're woke. We're fucking cucks and idiots and morons, and we're brainwashed.
So this is the Thought Cops holiday special.
Oh, what are you gonna call that? A holiday hat? No, Jesus wore that hat.
Jesus wore this on the cross when he had nails in his hands and stuck up there.
Yeah, what does that say? That's 100 years of what? I can't really see the full.
100 years of Kentucky basketball.
Oh, why do you have that?
I wore this for a Halloween costume 10 years ago, and it was admittedly a very stupid, try-hard, edgy costume. I was a Christmas suicide, and I wore this hat, and I had a string of Christmas lights around my neck.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, and someone was like, my grandma killed herself on Christmas, and I was like, really? She's like, no.
Yeah, a lot. Oh, well, I was going to say a lot of people do, but fuck that person in particular.
The holidays are hard. Yeah, fuck you for lying about that. She's actually the bad person here, not me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This is, by the way, the effect of the vaccine right now, is that my voice is a full octave lower.
Wow.
I can't do anything about that. Actually, because people are like, oh, what's in the vaccine? Is it soy? Actually, it's steroids. It's pure testosterone. It makes I feel exactly like the Liver King right now, minus the ab injections.
We could be making history here. Like, we could be changing minds. Like, all these guys out there, they don't want to get the vaccine because they're afraid of what's in it. Get the vaccine. It's going to make you sound more masculine. It's going to make you believe in Christ again. Right, Grant?
Yeah, I saw him. When I had a fever of 112, which is actually really good for your body. It's
right.
It's like being in a sauna. It's your body produces these heat proteins. I learned this all from the Joe Rogan podcast. It produces these heat proteins, and it's actually really good for you to have a fever that's that high. And as a result, you produce more testosterone, and your voice drops by 3 octaves, much like the Grinch. That's so true. I didn't even think about that. The Grinch did get vaccinated. Yeah. Well, it's weird. Speaking of Joe Rogan and the Liver King, do you know who the Hodge twins are at all? No. They might pop up on your Twitter every now and then. They've been popping up on mine. I don't know why. I don't follow them. They used to give really bad weightlifting advice. They were these 2 twins that are in their 40s. At this point, they're in their 50s. But about 10 years ago, they were in their 40s. It's childish to be a twin that long, isn't it? Yeah. And they're still doing things together. And come on. They share a Twitter account. It's not what's his name, Hodge, and the other. It's like they both have, it's just both of them at the same time. Grow up. And they would give really bad weightlifting advice, don't deadlift, it'll throw your back out, or don't decline bench press because you'll get bitch tits, or like, don't make fun of me for wearing gloves.
I haven't heard that phrase in a long time. Bitch tits.
I don't know. They're just like all sorts of like terrible lifting advice, but a lot of people got into lifting because of them. Okay. And now they're doing bad political advice because they went from being like a lifting twin duo to being like a stand-up comedy twin duo, and when that didn't work, they pivoted to politics. So now they're doing bad political advice, and they're beware the pipeline. Yeah, and they're very anti-vax, and it's like, y'all have stabbed yourself with so many needles. Like, there's no way you're in your 40s looking like that and you're not on steroids. Now you're in your 50s looking like that and you're not on steroids. You should love needles. You should be eating needles for breakfast, no milk, just like that SpongeBob episode. It's kind of weird when you think about it. These guys, do you think anyone's like, oh, I don't want to get vaccinated because I'm scared of needles? I mean, I'm sure there are people like that, but these guys out there, like you said, they love needles. They use them every day. Yeah. It's the same fucking thing. It's their favorite thing. I'm not putting any foreign substances in your body. You're all on steroids. Joe Rogan's on fucking HGH, Liver King's on whatever, and they're all, just do natural. Oh, it's your body's your body doesn't produce that much testosterone. Just do a vaccine. It's fine. It's good, actually. Yeah. Think of what those needles are doing for the outside. Well, there's needles for the inside, too. So. Science is awesome. I fucking love science, dude. Science is great. But less science, more Christ, more Christmas, more holiday cheer. What are some things that you like to do to get in the holiday spirit? I'm looking at the TV behind you. You got some of those stop motion cartoon, or I guess it's not really a cartoon, but it's more of a stop motion animation behind you. Yeah, this is the Rudolph, the red-nosed stop motion. I'd never seen this. Me and my girlfriend watched this. I'd never seen it like all the way through. It'd always be on TV, and I'd watch 5 minutes of it, and I'd be like, "That's good." Yeah. So finally sat down and watched it all the way through last night. And it was fine. I don't know. It's okay. Yeah. I feel like there's a weird internet contrarianism to Rudolph that's kind of getting annoying at this point, where they're like, oh, well, it's supposed to be about the virtues of nonconformity, but they're bullying him the whole time until capitalism. And capitalism makes it so that actually it's a good thing that he's is different, because then everybody gets their presents because he's got that red nose. So it's conformity to the point of you can make some money, and it's like, shut up, like, I don't care. It's for babies. Yeah. It's just toys moving around, and it's fun to watch. Yeah. Yeah, that's a classic, though. I do feel bad for, newer generations, because they're probably not even watching this stuff. They're probably watching like the Cocomelon Christmas special or some shit. Fucking come on, man. Watch the classics. I mean, this one does give me a little bit of heebie-jeebies. It's something about like the mouths don't move at the same time as whatever, but this is just free on YouTube. Yeah, those are from like the 60s. It was just free on YouTube. Those are from like the 60s or 70s, I think. They're freaking old, man. Because it was either that or like pay $10 to watch it on Amazon Prime, and it was like, it's on you. Somebody illegally uploaded it to YouTube. Why would I watch it on there? Yeah, no thanks. What's your all-time favorite holiday movie? Or holiday TV special? We'll include that. I'm not like the other girls. I'm gonna say Die Hard. There is a point to me, and maybe this is a broader topic for conversation. I know we reviewed Die Hard on Fire Bros a number of years ago, and that was my first time seeing it. And I think that there's almost something to it where it's like, I don't exactly like things that are about Christmas so much, but things that take place during Christmas, I feel like I can get behind a little bit more. And while Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie, there's something to that where it's like, I don't know, I kind of hate Christmas a little bit, and I'm trying to bombshell here. I'm trying to not. Surprise. I think, and that's the thing. That's the moral quandary that I've found myself in as an aging cynic that doesn't want to be so fucking negative all the time, you know, because negativity is kind of boring after a while. And it's like, you got to find things that aren't so negative. And
that's what season 2 is all about.
That's what season 2 is all about, is that. And so there's part of me that's like, how do I recapture this Christmas spirit? But the thing is, it wasn't the people that hate Christmas that ruined Christmas. I think that the people that hate Christmas are, much like George Carlin said about cynics, you know, disappointed optimists. And there's part of me that wants to relive that childhood experience of being excited to wake up in the morning and run downstairs and open presents. And I haven't felt that in a very long time. And so much of it now is like, what makes me feel like that? You know?
Yeah, for me, it was all downhill. Like, I remember opening my Nintendo 64 and screaming, and it was on tape, and then the video went freaking viral.
Oh, that was me. I saw that, yeah.
I don't know if people know this, but I actually am the Nintendo 64 kid.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to start spreading lies for, like, listeners, to like new listeners, like, yeah, did you know the Nintendo 64 kid has a podcast about, like, people being angry on Twitter? And they're like, oh, that's weird.
I feel like that might work, to be honest. It didn't really work too well with the VeggieTales guy used to babysit me.
Well, that was real, though.
This might work. And here's why. I noticed this with, did you notice, I don't know, you don't follow them as well as I do, and I don't really follow them very well either, but like, there was a good 10-year-long period where, like, the Smashing Pumpkins were trying to find, like, the twins that were on the cover of the Siamese Dream album, and there was, like, a point in time where Billy Corgan was like, actually, it's our bassist. Our bassist told us that she was one of the twins, and it's like, I don't think so.
Yeah, that just kind of happened.
It had, like, this whole news cycle. Yeah, and, like, you know, if you get a story like that to go, like, actually, here's my experience being the Nintendo 64 kid, like,
yeah.
They'll write a New York Times article about it.
That could be cool.
And then someone will call you a phony, and then you can be like, yeah, I did that, so what?
Yeah, and I also put the shrimp tails in my cereal. Yes, it's all true.
Basically every viral hoax has been Kevin this whole time.
That's right.
Anyway, yeah, to answer your question, probably not Die Hard, but I have been trying to make it more of a like seasonal thing to watch the TV show Happy, at least season 1. Season 2 kind of sucks, but Happy season 1 feels like the appropriate amount of Christmas cheer plus blood, gore, sex, violence.
That sounds real.
Alcoholism, drug use.
Man, that's the kind of shit that's ruining Christmas for everybody.
I think it's good for people like me that, you know, are jaded and jilted by the growing throes of capitalism that tell you, hey, November 1st, it's Christmas. And it's like, I've heard these songs on repeat like for 30 years now. Like, yeah, do some new songs, do some new something. I need something. We need some new blood reinvigorating this fucking dead holiday. It's killing me.
What are you drinking?
I'm currently making a hot toddy right in front of me.
For the record, it's 1:09 p.m. for people listening on Sunday.
Well, I had coffee, I had tea, I had multiple throat drops. I have a throat steamer off to the side of the camera that I was using earlier. I was neti potting. Anything for the craft. Anything for the craft of podcasting to keep me going.
I will say you do sound less hoarse than when we started.
It's working, see? Now all I need is some alcohol and it'll all clear up. How about you? What's your favorite Christmas media?
Holiday media.
It can also be Hanukkah. It can be
the Rugrats Kwanzaa special. No.
Did they do a Kwanzaa special?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember they did
they did Christmas, they did Hanukkah, and then they did Kwanzaa. It was what was her name? Susie, I think? Yeah, it was her family.
I don't remember that one, but maybe if I watched it, I might.
I would say my favorite Christmas movie is A Christmas Story. It's a movie I've seen probably 100 times. Movie? I do. I legitimately do.
I hate it. Can you explain to, because I don't want to hate it, but can you explain to me why you don't hate it?
I don't know. It's just one of those things where I think it's on TBS or something. Every Christmas Eve and a Christmas Day, they play it on a marathon for 24 hours. It's just kind of like a comfort movie to me. And I do think it's like, it's funny. It's fairly funny. It's not like bust a gut laugh out loud funny, but it's I don't know, there's something like the flow of the movie is like hypnotic, and I can sit there and have it on. It is very
like almost sort of for lack of a better term, it feels a little bit schizophrenic to me, because there's no like, oh, this one pivotal thing happened on Christmas and let me tell you about it. It's just like, this Christmas was so wild. I went to a mall and my dad got a leg lamp in the mail, and it's just like, why is any of, like, there's almost no plot other than like, hey, guess what happened today? You know what happened tomorrow? What about the day after? And it's like,
well, it just so happened to be Christmas Day, so there's a lot happening. And
right.
I don't know. It's like I said, it's kind of a comfort movie. It's just, I don't know. I don't like, I just can watch it over and over. Like, I'll have it on in the background. I'll probably have it on again this year.
You'll watch the marathon.
Yeah.
The entire marathon.
I won't I've seen the movie. I sat down and watched the movie enough. Like, I'll have it on in the background. Like, whenever I see my family or whatever, I'll typically turn to TBS until somebody's like, please stop putting this on. But it just, I don't know. It's just a nice movie. I like it.
I also kind of just like hate the 50s as a concept. And I think the movie like takes place in the 50s.
Yeah, it was made in the 80s, takes place in the 50s. And that's, I think, what we maybe talked about last time. I don't fucking remember. But how like in the 80s, there was a lot of nostalgia for 50s stuff, you know?
Right.
Like Back to the Future 2. It's like 50s.
I hate it. I don't know why.
50s diner, all that kitschy 50s stuff people liked back then.
Yeah. Did you see there's like a sequel to...
Yeah, I'm not going to be watching that.
I have heard... I don't know if I've heard good things about it, but I've heard that like there is like a sentimentality to it that maybe is worth checking out. I don't know. I don't like the first movie in the first place, so I don't know if I'd be checking out a sequel, but I didn't know if that would be something you would be interested in.
I mean, if it's on for 24 hours in a row, maybe I'll consider it.
It might be.
Yeah, maybe I'll consider it. I also want to say, I was like thinking back to, like, you were mentioning things that take place during Christmas.
Right.
I know at least some of them do, but I believe most of the Yakuza games take place around Christmas time.
See, that's the type of shit that I like.
Yeah, and I love those games. So I would say that is up there for my top holiday media. It's just you happen to be in Tokyo during there's a big Christmas tree, snowfall at the end of the game.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It just sort of happening, and it makes sense in a way. Much like Die Hard.
I like that. I like it as like a backdrop, you know, and as it pertains to like books or like video games or movies or something like that. I like it when it's more so a backdrop than like the central theme is like, oh, the Christmas spirit. It's like, it's so like, I would rather the Christmas spirit be reinvigorated by like an interesting story that's happening than like, oh, it's all about Jesus. Like, yeah, we know. Okay. There's part of me that's like, should I be one of these like fucking nerd neo-pagans that celebrates Yule? Because I think that there's something to it, and maybe this is, again, sort of like a Liver King thing, where it's like, we gotta go back, things were better in the past. Yeah, we have better drugs now, but aside from that, we gotta be eating testicles and liver and heart and stuff like that. And there's part of me that's like, okay, a lot of these traditions came from, like, it was really cold up in the northern part of Europe, and they would throw a big festival. And it's like, that's cool. Now it's like, oh, Macy's has their display out, and it's like, I don't care, man.
That's something I've like tried not to sour myself on too much. I mean, there was definitely a stretch of years where I also would say I didn't like Christmas. I wouldn't even say I particularly like it now either, but I think that the consumer aspect of it really just, Like, I remember I went to, I think it was like 2015, 2016. I happened to be at a shopping mall around Christmas time, and it was just like so much like useless crap
is
chaos. Being bought for no reason other than that you're supposed to buy something for somebody and then they can return it on Boxing Day for our friends up north, the day after Christmas. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, like obviously, I don't know. It just, there's like stuff. I mean, I have a lot of like fond memories as a kid of like Christmas, but there's just so much like worthless stocking stuffer crap that people, I don't know. It feels so misguided to me. That aspect I don't like. I don't know. I think like if you can, I don't know. It's all about family. It's all about Santa. You know, it's like one thing you mentioned about like media that not just takes place on Christmas, but is about Christmas. They all have the same ending. It's like, oh, he does exist. Santa's real. And they make a believer. Exist. Yeah, they make a believer of like the cynical, like older person who's like, wow, I guess he does exist. And the moral is like, believe in Santa. Well, he's not real.
Yeah, it's like a form of capitalist propaganda and gaslighting.
Yeah.
Just to be like, no, actually, all the things that you think like are bad are actually good. And you're like, I guess they are good.
Yeah,
like,
you ever think about it that way?
It's not just that you're cynical and you're smart and you know that like there's not a man in the sky that delivers the presents that your mom gave you. But it's that you're a bad person for thinking that. Like, now you're a venture capitalist. Oh, look how miserable you are. And it's like, well, at least you have health care. I don't know.
Drink Coke.
Yeah, and it's just a fucking, it's a capitalist psyop. It's, Coca-Cola made Santa, and now we all have to live with that.
So, Grant, what is on the top of your Christmas list this year? I'm sorry, your holiday list.
That was another thing that I wanted to get to was, how do you feel about the concept of presents? Is that still a thing that, like, because I feel like that's even, people are like, oh, what do you want? And I'm like, honestly, kind of nothing.
Man,
like,
I don't fucking know.
Well, I'm not a baby anymore, so I don't need toys. And also just like, I don't know, I don't want to feed the machine,
I can buy my own toys now.
Yeah, and I do, and then people are like, what toys do you want? And I'm like, I already have them.
Yeah.
Can't help me.
I would say, like, an underrated Christmas gift, and it's one that I actually gave to myself this year, is a trip to travel somewhere. I am going to be in Portland for a week for the very first time. I lost my job recently, and I figured, you know what, I had some money saved up. And I am going to, and yes, again, I lost it. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Fucking, what did you work for? Ebenezer Scrooge? Is he going to walk down the street and give you a big Christmas roast?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm not holding out hope for that, but it would be nice. But no, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. And I bought some cheap tickets for me and my girlfriend to go to Portland. Never been up to the Pacific Northwest. Always wanted to go. By always, I mean I have for a while. And should be cool. And that's something I'm like, that's something worth spending money on, like an experience. You know what I mean? Or going to if you don't want to travel, take yourself out to like a nice restaurant, you know, something maybe you wouldn't normally go to because it's kind of pricey, kind of fancy. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, I feel like my thing this year is like just staying at home and doing nothing for the first time in a long time because like
you guys aren't traveling this year?
No, and it's kind of a relief because there's so many times in the past couple of years where like the traveling has been just like chaotic and more stress that needs to be put on the situation, and it's like I feel like I'm trying to de-emphasize the concept of the holidays in that regard, where it's just like, I don't know, it's a good excuse to take time off work and you know, like it's get together with people you love and cherish and whatever, but it's like there's so many other aspects of the holiday that I kind of am resenting as a human being living in the year of our Lord 2022. And it's like I sort of just need a break from it. I think that like even in the same way that how we switched up the format of the podcast a little bit, like it's like you get so tied down in these like these concepts, and it's like, you don't, if the concepts aren't serving you, you can just get rid of the concept and you can do whatever you want. And so really this show has changed me for the better in that regard. Once we let go of the format, I was like,
season 2 is that fucking good.
I'm gonna let go of the format of Christmas.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, you and I both don't have family elsewhere, but yeah, I never really had to personally travel for Christmas. Last year,
I have my sister lives in Colorado, so we'll do a lot of like flying out to Colorado and stuff like that. But it's like, it's such a fucking hassle sometimes. You know?
I can imagine. I mean, we're not like flying during Christmas. We're gonna be like there a week before Christmas or so, get it back a little bit before. Right. But otherwise, the plan is the same thing. Just chill, you know.
Are you gonna visit Twin Peaks?
I hope nothing creepy happens, but yeah, we'll see.
For the first time, I just watched both Mulholland Drive and Lost Highway. I had not seen either of them.
Which one did you like better?
I think I liked Mulholland Drive better. It's weird though, because both of those have been on my list for like maybe a decade or so.
Yeah.
And I just like never watched them. And I watched like Twin Peaks, and I saw Blue Velvet maybe a couple of years ago, and that was always on my list of things, is like, because I'm a fan of like the idea of like surrealism and like dream interpretation type shit. And I watched both of them, and I was like, I don't know if I like these movies as much as I thought that I was going to. Like, maybe I built them up in my head too much or something, or maybe they warrant a rewatch, but like, I don't know.
Man, I hate that. Like, I sometimes, like, I'll really recommend something to somebody that I love, and then I feel bad. Like, I hype it up too much, because I think, like, I'm guessing part of the reason you watch those movies is because we were talking about them a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
Oh, they're awesome. They're so good. And then you're probably like, this better fucking blow my socks off. And then,
I mean, it's been, like, they've been on my list for a long time, and I think that, like, when I was initially intrigued by them, that was probably the time to strike when the iron was hot, sort of thing. Yeah. Like when I was like in college, and I was like, look, someone's not just doing like a traditional story. There's like a dream element to it, and weird characters that represent Jungian analysis sort of shit. And then I watch it and I'm like, yeah, I'd sort of I kind of understand what's going on, and it's not really that like mystical for me, and I kind of feel bad about that.
Well, what did you think of the cowboy in Mulholland Drive? What did you think was going on with him?
I think that, like, was he supposed to represent some sort of like the archetype of like, because his ranch was up towards the top of the Hollywood sign. Mm-hmm. Was he supposed to be some sort of like John Wayne-esque character that was like, we're going to tell you what to do and you're just going to listen sort of thing? Like, just sort of representing, this is what Hollywood, like, this is the way that it works, kid. Like, turn around and go back down the hill and fucking make the movie sort of shit. Like,
I think it was more like, I mean, I had to look this up a while ago, but it was, if I remember correctly, something to the effect of like, because he says like, if you see me one more time, that's a good thing. If you see me two more times, that's bad. Or maybe it was the other way around, but it had to do with like, he would appear in these like dreams, and if it was a bad outcome, you would kind of see him in the background or something. Right.
And you see him like towards the end of the movie and stuff like that. And it's like, I enjoy that little bit of interpretation and analysis and stuff like that, but it also like didn't blow me away as much as I felt like it could. And part of that also might just be the fact that those came out so long ago, and so much has been influenced by that since then. Yeah. And you get these evolutions and updates and stuff like that. And for some particular reason, and like stylistically, these are completely different, but I kind of in my head have been comparing them to like Everything Everywhere All at Once, where it's sort of like, there's these weird dream sequences, but they're not happening. Like, I feel like the Lynchian elements of like so much of the shit that like, the dream sequence elements and stuff like that were maybe a little more clear cut than I thought that they would be. As opposed to like maybe like Twin Peaks, where it's like, what actually is happening, sort of thing. Is there sort of this internal, external, like bleeding out into the real world sort of thing. And I like that as a concept where it's like, not that there's clear delineations between like dreams and reality, but that reality is so fucking weird that like you can put a woman with hot dog fingers on a screen and be like, this is also sort of like happening in a regard that like you can't completely discount it and say that, oh, this is just being wacky. It's like there's so many of those scenes where it's like, well, the entire concept of like a multiverse and shit like that is like to say that these are different interpretations of reality as opposed to like a clear like delineation between the concepts of like hard and soft reality sort of thing. It's like a little messier.
Would you prefer that there is a multiverse in the David Lynch movies?
I'm all on board with multiverses. I think Multiverse of Madness, one of the greatest movies of all time, perhaps.
How about a cinematic universe? You wish they all were friends with each other?
Yeah, the Multiverse of Madness cinematic universe is the greatest movie of all time. Oh, I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to watch the fucking Doctor Strange movie. I'm sorry. It's not going to be good. I don't care what our friend Josh says. I'm not watching it.
Fuck that. No, maybe I'll check it out someday. No, I think I'm on it, and I've talked about it enough, but I'm pretty much like checked out of those movies at this point. But another thing I want for Christmas, you know, and I know this is like a sign of just getting old, but it's just like I want things that are practical for my home.
Yeah.
I don't have something like I'm hoping to get a vacuum cleaner that you don't have to fucking sweep anymore.
Yeah.
I just want to get like things that are practical that I can use to make my life easier, you know, instead of just
right. Toys.
A toy to distract myself, because I can buy those on my own.
Yeah.
Will I actually buy a vacuum? I guess I did buy, like, I told a story on the show about how I bought that handheld vacuum cleaner because it was there was two options. One said like Adulting 101 and the other didn't.
Oh yeah.
So I bought the other one. But as far as having a stand-up vacuum, I don't have one of those. So
I got this Dyson on the wall over here. This is pretty good. I don't know.
I know. Yeah.
That was a gift from last Christmas. So I don't know. I can't help you with pricing or anything like that. It
doesn't really matter. I mean, it's somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
That's
I think Dysons are kind of expensive, but
that's why you ask for it for Christmas, the expensive stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think about, and I'm kind of reading the questions you put in the doc here, but what do you think about people who make like Halloween and autumn their whole personality versus people who make winter and Christmas their whole personality? Do you think you see one more than the other? Is one worse than the other? What do you think?
I don't know. I think that the whole making it your whole ass personality thing, I think that that's getting a bad rap because at this point in time, the autumnal season and the wintertime season, I'm enjoying those more than I'm enjoying the actual holidays. TBH.
Yeah, same. I'm not a big fan of winter in general, really. I feel like I really soured on it once I got a driver's license, because I'm like, this fucking blows, man. I gotta like wipe my car off, drive in the snow, slip on ice. It's not fun.
Yeah. Well, and I like bike to work and I bike commute, and so it's like, I don't know, there's part of me that likes it sometimes and there's part of me that fucking hates it. And it's not as bad as I think people think that it is sometimes, but it's just cold. I actually just recently, I used to I'm a crazy person that used to just bike in like a pair of shorts and a sweatshirt. And I went out, I bought like a fucking like balaclava and like a helmet and like goggles so that I'm not just like tearing and shit like that. And even still, it's just like I got too much fucking shit on me. I can't breathe, you know?
Yeah.
It sucks to put all that shit on.
And that's what people always say, like, about hot weather versus cold weather. Because I've always been of the opinion I can handle heat, you know? And some people are like, oh, I would rather handle extreme cold because they say like, oh, I can add or remove layers. I don't want to deal with layers. I don't want to carry extra shit around. I go to see a movie, I got to sit on my big fucking jacket, you know? I don't want to do that. I just, like, I go to see a movie in the summer, oh, it's nice and cool in here. I go outside, oh, I'm getting vitamin D, the sun is beating down on me. It feels good. There's like no sunlight in the winter, barely. It's cold as fuck, it's slippery, it just sucks, man. So I just don't really get the argument for people who say, oh, I can add or remove layers, and that's like, you know, oh, I don't mind it. It's not the worst thing in the world, but again, it just, once it comes down to practicality, like you're driving or you're biking or whatever, it just sucks.
Yeah, if the coldest it got was like in the 50s and all you had to carry around was like a light jacket, then like whatever.
Right.
But, you know, here in Neo-Chicago, you know, it gets way down below zero sometimes, and that fucking blows.
I would say, like, if you do live, I guess specifically here, yeah, the infamous winters are
the polar vortexes.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can get around a lot of places on public transportation, and if you ride the trains here, it's like the trains like will barrel through any horrific winter storm. Yeah, and it feels like you're invincible. Like you got the star in Mario Kart. You're just riding through the fucking, you know, snowstorm. And then when you drive, it's like there's traffic. It's all backed up. You got to be careful not to slip off the road. It sucks.
And there are aspects that I do like about sometimes if there's like a big snowstorm or something like that. And it's like, I'll still go to work on those days because I live within like walking distance. So it's like, I'll just walk to work. But like sometimes when there's so much snow that they can't even plow it all and there's just no cars on the road and you can just like walk down the middle of the street like it's the fucking apocalypse. Like, and there's nobody out. And it's like, this is kind of cool, actually. I don't mind this so much.
You feel like you're an I Am Legend until somebody hits you with their car.
Yeah, but there are no cars because they can't make it through the only thing you have to watch out for is you know, the I just said it, the plows, the snow plows.
Black ice.
There was one time I was walking to work. I don't think I've told this story on the podcast before. One time I was walking to work. It was pretty cold out. Usually I like bike to work, but for some reason I was walking this one day, and I wake up pretty early because I work as a personal trainer that trains people at like 5, 6, 7 a.m. And I was walking and there's nobody out, nobody on the street. It's like dead of winter, 5 a.m. and I'm wearing shorts and a hoodie, as you do. And one of the snowplow trucks comes, and in addition to plowing the snow, they also have that like salt propeller that like spits out salt.
Yeah.
But it spits out the salt in like a 20 to 30 foot diameter.
That's why I'm always chasing it with my bag of popcorn.
Yeah. But it's like these huge salt like pellets, and I was wearing shorts and I saw that the salt pellets were like knee height. And they were just like spewing out of this truck, just like, and like, I was like, oh, I'm too close to this truck. So I literally had to jump over the salt rainbow. And I can't imagine how fucking stupid I looked. An idiot. It's 5 a.m. It's 10 degrees outside. I'm wearing shorts and I see a big rainbow of salt that's going to pelt me in the legs and possibly make me bleed. And I jump over it. And this guy must have been like, are you a crackhead? What are you doing? Why are you like this?
Why was there so much salt?
That's just what they do as they plow. Like they'll plow the front and then get the snow out of the way and then like spew the salt from the back.
Yeah, I feel like that's like more than usual though. If you got to like jump over it.
It was like a lot. Yeah. It was like a big fucking, like it was literally like a rainbow. It was coming out in all directions. So that's a fun story.
Be careful out there, everyone. Of salt rainbows.
Yeah.
I got a 2 minutes of hate.
Yeah.
Why can't I have normal interactions with anybody anymore?
It's your face. People don't like it.
I think you're right. No, I had a couple. Actually, I did see. Remember I told that story about the guy with his dog?
Mm-hmm.
I encountered that man recently again.
Oh, yeah.
I saw him in the morning, and he didn't have his dog, and he just said, like, he's like, morning. Hey, how's it going? Normal interaction.
Because you're like, no.
No, he didn't have his dog. He didn't have his dog to gossip to. And then that day, I got a flat tire and then got fired from my job.
Do you think that guy's some sort of like Lynchian entity?
I honestly do.
Because it does feel very just like maybe you dreamed that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just keep having like and I don't think it's just me. I feel like I either have or witness like weird interactions. Like I was at Walgreens the other day picking up a prescription, and there's like this old lady in front of me, like just wasting time in the line. And then she just like the pharmacist is basically talking to someone, and she just goes like, Andrew. I don't know how she knows him, because the guy clearly didn't even know who she was. And he was
it like a name tag thing? I
mean, he was like 7 feet away, so that's pretty good eyesight. But she kept going, Andrew, and he was like, can I help you? She's like, after and she had to get somebody else's attention. She's like, can you get his attention? I need to ask him something. And then they're like, she wants to say something to you. He's like, can I help you? She's like, did you get your house yet? She wants to know if you got your house. He's like, I live in a condo. She's like, no, did you get your house? And the guy clearly has no fucking idea who this old lady is. And he's just like standing there. He's like, I don't know. And there's a bit long line too. People are waiting. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, your gingerbread house. Did you get the Walgreens store gingerbread house yet? He's like, I don't know. So he didn't even know what that was. And it was just like, oh my God. Like, I feel like this stuff is happening all over the place constantly. And I'm like, I just want to go somewhere where this shit doesn't happen for once. And I don't know if it's part of living in a big city or something, but God damn, I'm sick of it.
I've also been just like experiencing weird. Did I tell the story of when I went to Jewel and I had like the weird cart?
I think you told me you said this story in the Discord. I don't think you said it on the show.
Yeah, just I've also been having weird experiences. Anytime I venture out into public, it's like I really do feel like at the beginning of Mad Max Fury Road, where he's doing like the opening monologue, and he's like, I couldn't tell if the rest of the world had gone mad or if it was just me. And that's how I feel all the time. Is like, is this what reality is, and my brain just can't conform to it? Or like, am I the normal one and everyone's because there's just been such like weird. And I don't know. I feel like I walk around more and more just with like headphones in, just sort of like tuning everything out until I like have like a need to interact with someone, which maybe isn't like always the best thing to do, because maybe it puts you in the state of like you're in your own mindset, and then like you come back to reality, and then there's gravity. And so I went to Jewel, which is Jewel Osco is a famous grocery store out here in Chicagoland. And I grabbed like a cart, and it didn't work. The wheel didn't spin. And I was like, okay, I'll grab a different cart. And that one worked. And I pushed it into the building. And then as soon as I got through the building, like the wheel stopped. And then the carpet underneath it like dragged up. And then there was like a line of 5 people that magically appeared behind me. And I was like, God damn, like fucking.
They're always waiting for some moment like that.
They weren't there, and then they were there. And then this employee looks at me, and I'm assuming he might have been like a manager. He was wearing like a different shirt than everybody. And he was like, sir, your cart is locked. And I was like, okay. Like, I didn't lock it. I didn't know that they locked.
Yeah.
It wasn't locked when I had it. Now it's locked. And then he just grabbed the cart and took it. He didn't say, oh, let me grab you another cart. He was just like, sir, your cart is locked. And I went, well, I don't know. And then he grabbed the cart. And then a different employee was looking at me, and I was like, this guy just took my cart. And he was like, the other employee was like, you okay, bro? And I was like,
what?
I don't know. What do you mean? How is that the response?
Are people like dumber now?
I don't know. And then like I went in, and like the guy was like talking. The other guy that took the cart was talking to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back out and I grabbed like a different cart, and he was like, oh, sir, I got you another cart. And it's like, I already have the cart. Why are you fucking with me? Why are you fucking with me right now? Why are you fucking with me?
That is
I feel
so
like these
fucking
interactions happen
obnoxious.
all the fucking time, and it's like, dude, you're like making me feel like I'm a crazy person, that like my understanding of reality is like far off from that of everybody else, and it's like gaslighting. It's this is a legitimate form of abuse.
I think it has a lot to do with lockdown and pandemic.
I mean, I think 100% you're right. I think
there's something in the vaccine.
Experiencing it. I think it's the vaccine.
I think people were like cooped up, crazy, bitter on the internet constantly. Everybody feels entitled. Nobody knows how to talk to each other anymore. And that's just how it is. I mean, it's like, I think about, like you said, I know this at the risk of sounding old, but like, man, if I used to work jobs like that. If I talked to a customer that way, my fucking head would spin as I was being pushed out the door.
They used to literally like walk up to, like, my managers used to walk up to me and be like, "Make sure you smile. You're not smiling enough." And I'm like, I don't know. Like,
now you can just say, "You okay, bro? You good, bro?"
Yeah, it was just like insane. And again, it's like I don't care so much to like force customer service employees to smile at me and pretend that their job doesn't suck, but again, it was like this weird Lynchian like expression of reality where
everything
it's just
feels
like, am I dreaming right now? Am I a crazy person? Did I do too strong of an edible and now my brain is broken? My faculties are just fried?
No, it's definitely everybody else besides us.
Yeah, I think we're the normal ones. I think you're right.
But I just wish that, like, again, it's, oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, like, after that old lady thing happened, I was like, I got in line, and I couldn't help but laugh a little bit, and the pharmacist in front of me started laughing at me too, and she's like, "Oh, what's your name for pickup?" And I say my last, and I'm like, "Oh, POTUS," and she's like, "That's your last name?" And in my head, I'm like, I was so close to not having a weird interaction that was around me. This could have been just a funny thing I witnessed, could have just left, but I had to spell my name out. She's like, "Oh, that's your last name." And I'm assuming maybe she thought like the acronym for like President of the United States, but she didn't mention that. She just went like, "That's your last name?" Like, kind of judgmental. And I was like,
weird.
I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, why? Like, why would you say that to somebody picking up medicine? Why would you do that?
Weird flex, but okay.
What, that I was picking up medicine?
No, that's your last name.
Yeah.
Weird flex, but yeah, sure, buddy. Kevin POTUS, yeah.
I just don't know what the fuck to
get lost
of anything anymore, man. Like, I know I've told this story on the show multiple times, and it wasn't even my story, but a friend of ours who like said that he went to go see the Batman, and there was somebody like watching a full ass episode of Stranger Things on an iPad in front of him in the theater. Like, this didn't used to happen before COVID.
Yeah.
Like, people would talk in the theater, somebody might pull out their phone, but watching Netflix on your iPad while you paid for a ticket to see a movie, like, what the fuck is going on?
I do think that, like, I know that this is like maybe this is the effect of we all have cameras on our phones and we can all record weird happenstances when they occur in nature, more so than we could like 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But like the amount of videos that I still see to this day of people having freakouts on planes, and even the amount of people that I know that have had to deboard a plane, like that I know personally, that are like, "Hey, you saw the news? I was on that one." It's like, why is this like, I feel like this is maybe indicative of the more people have to deboard planes, the higher the level of like general psychosis is in the United States, because I feel like there's like a benchmark for like, yeah, shit's really fucking nuts. They deboarded 10 planes this week, and it's like that. I know the numbers are up.
Yeah, I hope to be that person next week, by the way. Get a plug for the podcast in.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, take advantage of it.
Anyway, I just might, you know what, fuck any Christmas presents. I just wish that things would go back to normal. I don't know if Santa has the power to do that. I really don't. Santa, Jesus, whoever. Let's just go back to normal times.
Santa's like, "Hey, this is the new normal, folks."
Santa's like, hell, I'm all out of coal these days at this rate.
honestly. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck.
So
I don't know what to make of this.
I don't know. I also this is a story I'm want to talk about one story here.
Yeah, sure.
And this is one that I don't know, man. It's
not that stupid game story.
It is.
It
is.
God,
yeah. You know what? I want to be honest. I haven't watched the clip. I purposely avoided it. I'm not trying. Award shows are not for me. I don't care about the Oscars, the Golden Globes, the Game Awards, the Grammys. It's not for me. And I feel like a lot of people say that, but a lot of people still watch them for some reason because we're all hoping we get one of these again. Bam!
Yeah, that was my experience with this. Is everyone was just tweeting as though everybody, because I was on Twitter and I was just scrolling through the feed oh, what's happening today? I don't want to pay attention to whatever TV show I'm watching or whatever. Let me just scroll Twitter and see what's happening. And people are talking about this Game Awards show as though everyone's watching it. And I'm like, well, I'm not watching it. And then everyone's like, oh my God. Oh my, I can't believe that just happened. And I go, what happened? And people are like, just Cashew that listens to the podcast said, just scroll. And I was like, I don't know. I'm scrolling and everyone's just like, this is the second slap. And I was like, what's the second slap? And everyone's just like, just look into it.
You're typing slap into Google. What's going on? Yeah.
And it was just one of those oh my God, I can't. And it's what happened? And it was so thoroughly uninteresting.
So
I
basically,
just don't care.
From what I understand, what happened is some 15-year-old kid, some edgelord, I don't know, man, some guy, just some fucking teenager, man. He's a teenager. He was at the Game Awards, and when they were giving out Game of the Year award to the team who worked on Elden Ring, he just walked up. He just hung around and he said something silly into the microphone. And that was it. And he got arrested, I think. He's out of, he's fine now. But I would say the broader implication here is why was that so easy to do?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's one thing for Will Smith in the front row of the Oscars to walk up and slap Chris Rock. But it's another when it's some fucking random 15-year-old who's there for some reason just is able to walk up in at the very last biggest award. Right. And walk up right on the stage, and thank God he didn't have a weapon or something, or slap anyone.
Yeah, and also it's what are you gonna stop Chris Rock? Are you gonna put your hand or Chris Rock? Shit.
Will Smith.
You're gonna stop Will Smith from walking up and yeah, sure. Also do you know whether or not this is a bit? Because sometimes the Oscars do bits where somebody goes into the audience and someone we're doing some banter sort of thing, and everyone's like, oh, okay, well, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what this cartoon is that's playing behind me. It's kind of creeping me out. I also was looking at it, which is why I couldn't remember Will Smith's name.
Sure.
But yeah, and then a lot of people have been interviewing this kid on their podcasts, and I click out after 30 seconds. It's least interesting.
He couldn't make it today, by the way, guys. Sorry.
I had this funny idea that we would invite him on and then just hang up on him immediately because I don't care.
I guess
it's thoroughly uninteresting. It's the least interesting spectacle. At least Will Smith spectacle was funny. It was I can't believe that happened. This is he went on stage and said, I nominate Bill Clinton for Rabbi of the Year, and then people are like, oh, why'd you do it? And he's like, because Bill Clinton's Rabbi of the Year. And it's I don't care anymore. This sucks. This is boring. LOL.
Yeah, and then there was this whole cycle of is he a milkshake duck? Is he not a milkshake duck? I don't know.
I don't care. He's a child. Irrelevant. He's a child. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
You can't be a milkshake duck if you're under 18.
Yeah.
You're just a dumb kid doing dumb kid stuff.
Have you seen Jordan Peterson has been really on the he's been really railing against free speech lately on his Twitter account.
That's weird.
He really hates when people say LOL.
What? Oh, I think I did see him talking about this maybe months ago or something.
He keeps doing it. He keeps bringing it up.
Is it said it was like a symptom of like narcissism or something?
Yeah,
narcissism.
LMAO or LMFAO, or he had the one that was like a couple months ago where he was saying something along the lines of like what's with all these anonymous trolls? LULZ LMFAO bro, and it was like I don't know, talk about a fried brain.
Yeah, I mean, like, I do think there is like a certain cadence people use online where there is a sort of like detached, I'm above this kind of thing that has really taken on
for sure.
With everybody like just ending like some sardonic phrase with like LMAO or lol. It's just sort of a thing people do when they're dunking on somebody on Twitter.
Right.
I don't know. I don't care to pathologize it any more than that.
Yeah. It's not, you don't have to psychoanalyze it, Mr. Doctor. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Is this Frosty? Is that what that is? Is that Frosty? There's the hat.
Yeah. Oh, it is Frosty. There he is. Oh, wait. Well, watch this. This is fucking crazy. The hat
turns into a real man.
And he becomes sentient.
Yep.
Cool. I wonder why.
Well, you see, it's whatever. I don't care enough to do. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. You know what? Let's listen to a listener voicemail we got. 312-788-7361, or you can always send us an audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com. I'm going to pull that up here right now.
Yes. Hello, Thought Cops. Just want to say, great episode last time. I loved all the opinions you guys had. They were so similar to mine, which made me really smile. I would say if there was only one thing maybe to do a little differently, Kevin, perhaps a little less talking about the yellow people and a little more talking about classic pieces of art that can stand the test of time, like Yu Yu Hakusho. Not so much this Homer Simpson crap. I think it's getting a little long in the tooth. All right. Call me back, fellas.
Who do you know who that was?
No clue, but I want to say
it almost sounded like Low Res Wonder Bread, but I don't think that it is.
I don't think so. But so check this out. I got my Homer tattoo. I'm covering it up with a Yu Yu Hakusho shirt, which I just happen to be wearing by complete coincidence for the last 3 days.
That is a coincidence.
Yeah. I'll change tomorrow.
Whatever. Who cares?
Well, thank you for that voicemail. Thank you for the feedback. And I also want to know, what do you guys think of Season 2 so far? Give us a call, 312-788-7361, or send an audio file to thoughtcopspodcast@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, throw us a few bucks over at patreon.com/thoughtcops. We got bonus episodes of Fire Bros on there. More to come soon. Patreon.com/thoughtcops. Want to give a shout out to one of our older patrons this week, Jim from Drink a Beer and Play a Game, who has been a patron since August of 2020.
I'm going to do my Nancy Pelosi clap.
Very sarcastic.
That's the tea, sis.
That is the tea, sister.
That's what I would say if I saw that live, if I was in Congress and she was...
I'd be fucking losing my shit.
Sis, let me tell you, that's the tea up there.
Anywho, that just wraps up, or just about wraps up, this Thought Cops holiday spooktacular. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it wasn't too scary. Hope you guys have a great Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Spaghetti Monster Day, whatever the hell you celebrate. I hope it's great.
Flying Pink Unicorn Day or whatever.
Yeah, I hope you guys have a great... Or what was the one we talked about with the Honda Happy Honda Days or something?
I saw another reference to that in the wild on Twitter. Something about, I'm going to kill you because you celebrate Honda Days, but I'm a Toyota-thon. I think that is like an atheist... Oh,
Toyota-thon, yeah. Yeah.
I think that is like an atheist artifact. It's like, I do Toyota-thon. You do Honda Days... I'm killing you over your religion, you're killing me over mine.
Well, I hope that everybody has a great Toyota-thon or Honda Days, whichever you prefer to celebrate. We'll see you guys on the other side.
See you, Santa.